Mark Rogers TV for iTalk SEC, breaking down SEC quarterback play for Week 1. Keep in mind that most of these guys were making their first collegiate starts, replacing living legends at those schools, and they did pretty well across the board. But nobody did better or anywhere close to the performance of Kenny Hill for Texas A&M at South Carolina. So in the face of a hostile crowd, with South Carolina riding that long home winning streak, Kenny Hill was incredible. In his first collegiate start, 44 of 60, 511 yards as he broke Johnny Manziel's school record for passing yards in a game. 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. So take all the glossy stats, if you will. I'll take the no interceptions on the road in his first collegiate start, throwing the ball 60 times. Now, once Kevin Sumlin broke down the game tape, he was really impressed because he said what Kenny Hill did was he was able to recognize the defensive fronts for South Carolina, which allowed him to know what coverage they were in. That allowed him to make the right decision, throw the ball to the right guy, and he threw it very accurately, on time, in a position where his playmakers could make plays in open space. Kenny Hill was incredible in this game. Once again, we've got to spit it out once again. You've probably heard it 1,000 times. 44 of 60 for 511, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. And he gets to perform the next 3 weeks against Lamar, Rice, and SMU before he steps back into SEC play against Arkansas. Maybe Kenny Hill's toughest decision this week was deciding what nickname he would latch on to. There have been several thrown out there. Kenny Football, Kenny Touchdown, Kenny Thrill, Thrill Hill. But the one that Kenny Hill likes is Kenny Trill. And if you don't get that, look it up. Urban Dictionary would be preferable. Look it up, Kenny Trill. All right, our next guy to look at is Bo Wallace, who also opened up on Thursday night as Ole Miss downed Boise State 35-13, but it was much tougher than that, and mostly because Bo Wallace was atrocious in the first half. The Rebels only led this game 7-3 at half, 7-6 late in the third quarter against an outmanned Boise State team, but the Rebels finally kicked it into gear. Their superior talent, athleticism, speed, and size along the offensive front finally took over, and they ran it away from there 35-13 over Boise State. Bo Wallace, 25 of 36, 387 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's all good. But he threw 3 interceptions, 3 in the first half that kept Boise close, and the first 2 were very ugly. First interception for Bo Wallace, he was trying to hit his tight end, Evan Ingram, down the left seam. He threw it late. He didn't throw it well. It wobbled. And he waited way too long, and he threw it behind Ingram and allowed the safety to make a play on the ball. His second one, kind of similar. Threw it late, telegraphed the pass, didn't throw it well, threw it off target, didn't see the linebacker who stepped in and made the pick. Bo Wallace, once again, though, stepped up in the second half and delivered a victory for his team and started to make some Bo Wallace kind of throws that we saw as a junior when he threw 18 touchdown passes against 10 picks. But he can't throw 3 interceptions against the better teams in the SEC and expect to win, as Ole Miss would like to make it back to Atlanta, where they defeated Boise State, get back to Atlanta to the SEC championship game. Bo Wallace, 25 of 36, and his next game is against Vandy. All right, let's break it down. Blake Sims against West Virginia. The Alabama quarterback who's been waiting so long and patiently for A.J. McCarron to move on to the NFL finally gets his first collegiate start. In a big game against the Mountaineers, Alabama struggled in winning 33-23, but most of those issues on defense. For Blake Sims, he played pretty well. Nick Saban had good things to say about him, that he played a poised game, that he made the right decisions, that he was in control, that he was confident. He hit on 24 of 33 passes, 250 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. And if Blake Sims showed us anything in this game, he knows where his best player is. He threw the ball to Amari Cooper 12 times, 12 receptions for Amari Cooper, his best playmaker, and possibly the best in all of college football. He ran it 7 times for 42 yards, so Alabama trying to take advantage of one of his big skills, and that's his mobility, his dual threat capabilities in rushing the football. Blake Sims actually operated better out of the no huddle than he did after Alabama called a play in the huddle. So Nick Saban wants him to play better after calling play in the huddle, but they went to more no huddle because Blake Sims had played much better in the first half and through three quarters in the no huddle. Again, 24 of 33 for 250. Nice showing out of Blake Sims, but this is still a quarterback competition. Because the way the game went and because Blake Sims was playing pretty well, Jay Coker did not throw a pass in this game. He handed it off a few times, but Nick Saban said after the game and at this week's news conference that Jacob Coker has got to play some meaningful time, and he will the next 2 weeks. And Alabama's got some cushion before they've got to prepare for the Florida Gators. They've got Florida Atlantic and Southern Miss the next 2 weeks, so they will work on the passing game. And Blake Sims threw just about everything underneath. When he had to throw the ball down the field, he did not look impressive. That's not his strength. That's not his forte. But if he's going to maintain the starting job at Alabama, he's got to be more accurate throwing the ball down the field, because even though that's not a strength, he's got to do it capably. So it's still Coker and Sims. The jury's still out, but Sims acquitted himself rather well in the opener against West Virginia. Now let's go to the primetime affair with Wisconsin taking on LSU and quarterback Anthony Jennings, who won the job basically because he had more reps and more experience than Brandon Harris. Harris outplayed him in the spring game, but Jennings won the job in August, and again, he performed once Zach Mettenberger got knocked out against Arkansas, the last regular season game last season. Jennings stepped in, led the 99-yard game-winning drive, threw the touchdown pass to Trayvon Doral to win the game, performed okay against Iowa in the Outback Bowl, didn't make many mistakes, completed 7 of 19, but didn't make mistakes. So he wins the job. Didn't have a good first half, but he didn't have a horrible first half. He took care of the football. And again, like Kenny Hill, didn't turn it over in his first collegiate start, at least this season for Anthony Jennings as a young quarterback. 9 of 21, 239 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions for Anthony Jennings. Les Miles said after the game, hey, he did what we asked him to do, and he did it well. And what his teammates had to say was maybe even more impressive. This spoke volumes, because they said that Anthony Jennings had little to say in the first half, but he was a different guy in the second half, and his team certainly was a different team. Trailing 24-7, Anthony Jennings led them back. He started to hit on some passes and looked really confident throwing the football in the third quarter. Brandon Harris is still in this mix. Much like Sims versus Coker, it's still Harris and Jennings. Jennings has the leg up. Les Miles said that. He played well. He did what we expected him to do. If he plays this well, he probably will keep the job. That said, Brandon Harris will get some reps. He will get some meaningful playing time. And as Les Miles said after the game, we're going to bring him along. But right now, Anthony Jennings has more game experience, and game experience against good teams. After Arkansas, it was Iowa last year, and in this game against Wisconsin, again, 24-7 trailing, he brought him back to win 28-24. So that pays dividends with teammates when the quarterback can deliver in the clutch, and that's what Anthony Jennings did here. That means a ton. Now he has Sam Houston State, and he's got Louisiana Monroe the next 2 weeks to hone his game and hopefully complete more than 29 of 21 as he did against the Wisconsin Badgers. All right, our final quarterback to look at in the SEC Western Division is Brandon Allen of Arkansas, who was mostly miserable last season in completing just about 49% of his passes with just slightly more touchdowns than interceptions. But if you look a little bit closer against the good teams in the SEC, not good. In SEC play, he threw more picks than TDs and only 47% completion percentage. All right, at halftime, Auburn on the Plains, Arkansas was in the game, 21-all. Brandon Allen had a pretty darn good first half and delivered 21 points. Threw a key pick in the third quarter, and Auburn just exploded on offense, shut him down on defense, and Allen completed the game at 18 for 31, 175 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, and again, that pick was a game changer as Auburn took over in the second half, 24-0 run to win at 45-21. Brandon Allen had a bum shoulder last year, so we didn't really get to see what he could do. He gutted it out the entire season, but suffered that injury to his shoulder in Game 3, so he was never really quite right the entire season. So it will be interesting to see what Brandon Allen can do against the SEC. He is fully healthy at this point. Again, mixed reviews in week 1 on the Plains at Arkansas. 18 of 31 for a $175, threw the key interception in the second half, but threw 2 touchdowns as Arkansas at least generated some offense through the air. We're talking about one of the worst passing attacks in college football in 2013. Look much improved this week against Auburn. That's our breakdown of the SEC Western Division quarterbacks. We'll come back. We'll talk the SEC East. This is Mark Rogers TV for iTalk SEC.